Hey everyone, Mike Miller for the Herald Times, coming to you from Williams Arena, joined by a very special guest, if you can call him that. No, he's a. I'm sorry, that was a terrible way to start this. It's my buddy Josh Margolis from Inside the Hall. What's happening?
I'm from here. I like it. I love the barn. I know people complain today about the raised floor. I'm a fan of it just because I grew up going to games a few times a year here, and I think it's a tradition. I know Newkirk probably doesn't like it.
Zed probably doesn't like it. Yeah, he took a spill. Yeah, I think anyone who doesn't, I understand why people don't like the raised floor. I think it's a thing in a lot of different places that have the raised floor. But no, this is Sweet Gym, man. I love this place. This is a really cool place to watch a game, and it's been a tough place for a lot of teams, Indiana included, over the years. It's a tough place to come in and win. Indiana nearly did that, but not tonight.
Minnesota gave them their chances.
They sure did.
Beginning of the game, especially. I mean, it's hard to have a sloppier basketball game than the one that was the first 5 minutes, especially.
Yeah.
Patino took off his jacket, got a technical.
Thomas Bryant slapped the floor. I mean, they had some early momentum, too. 6-0 lead early. And
they had their chances.
It's always important on the road.
15 combined turnovers in the first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Yeah, it was a mess. We're used to that, though. We're used to that. That's IU basketball right now.
It's it's ugly. And Indiana, without many of their main contributors, have to play ugly to win, and they did. But they just couldn't come out with enough plays to win it.
It's tough too. I mean, we're at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. New look lineup today. Deron Davis in there. Also, Devontae Green in there for Rob Johnson. Second time this year Johnson has not started a game. It was a good start. I mean, it was a really nice post feed to Davis to get the scoring started, and that was about that. That was about it for Davis until about late in the second half. Foul trouble. I think at one point, by the time he had his fourth foul, he had more fouls than minutes played. But I mean, his play down the stretch today is just his willingness to play down the stretch and assert himself in the ways that he can. I think was a big reason why Indiana was in this until the final minutes.
And I like the starting lineup decision, especially against
this team
with Murphy and with Lynch. You need size, and Deron had that size. He just early on couldn't stay on the floor,
and he fouled out Lynch. I think Davis had about 5 points there in about a 4-minute swing. Right, he kind of followed up Blackman. Blackman had 7 points. To give Indiana allow Indiana to keep some advantage there about late. 7 minutes left in the second half, and Davis fills in. And
the same way that IU fed Davis against Penn State, IU fed Bryant against Penn State in that triple overtime game. They were feeding Deron late in this one. Lead was going back and forth, and Deron was reliable. I mean, he's got a great shot, but it seemed like he was as reliable tonight down the stretch as any big man.
And he's going to have to be. He's going to have to be. Thomas Bryant's going to have to be. Thomas Bryant, tough night, man. 8 points. I think he's 3 for 14 from the floor. Just never really got it going. Had some pretty big rebounds. Had 10 rebounds, but just a tough night for him. This team is really going to need. I don't know what the hell's going to happen these next 4 games to close out the regular season.
They need to go. 4-0 probably if they want to get back into the bubble conversation.
Yeah. To even get back in the conversation. Yeah. I mean, we're talking what after this? You go to Iowa, like this. I could see him going out there and getting a win. But again, I mean, this is a team right now that just doesn't. It just doesn't have the
pull-ups?
Right. No, I don't know. I'm just getting a little too casual. What I'm trying to say was guys like Bryant, guys like Davis, and certainly James Blackman in particular, especially coming off that game against Michigan. Granted, Blackman has not always been himself. Juwan Morgan hasn't always been himself. But these guys have been banged up. But these are guys this team just has to rely on for a number of different reasons just to kind of keep it together going down the stretch. And Tom Crean really challenged these guys coming out of the Michigan game. And I don't know where Robert Johnson's game has gone. He's just kind of, you can call it a funk, which it is, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's
some of the passes he makes, though, it makes you really. There was one, I believe it was early to mid first half, when he passed it on the outside to Blackman, and it's just nowhere near him.
Yeah, are you talking? Is that the one on the fast break?
No, it was just
that was another one.
That one on the fast break when Blackman had an easy layup if Johnson hits him, but there was one he passed it like 5 feet. Blackman was 5 feet from him, and he missed him by about 3.
It's been a rough run for him, man. He's always been, if you go kind of look at like the turnover percentages with him, he's always been a little shaky with the ball. But recently, it seems almost like it's gotten worse. And for a team that has to rely on a guy like that, and a guy like Black, and really rely on those guards at times, I mean, it's been debilitating.
When your healthy players aren't playing at the level they're capable of,
exactly.
You're asking your guys that aren't 100% to play better than maybe they're capable of. And Juwan had his best game since the Rutgers injury when he tripped over the ref. And he was only 3 of 12 shooting, but 7 of 7 from the line, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks.
He was where you wanted him to be, really, on the floor. He was just around the plays. He was in the spots where it allowed others to make things happen. That's the most important thing, I think. Guys like
we've seen him have good stretches, maybe 2 or 3 minutes since that Rutgers injury, but to play a full game and contribute the entire time.
And in that same vein, I think, too, if you talk about guys like that, Freddie McSwain is at a point now where he's still, I think, a long ways away from being a finisher, a guy who can actually give you offense, but he's around the basket, he's around the rim. I think he had 5 or 6 rebounds tonight, and that, I guess, is something encouraging. But this would have helped. This would have really helped coming in here and getting a win. And
they needed it. The program needed it. The fan base is kind of the word going around is apathy, and it's hard. This game doesn't really do anything to change that, I don't think.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. I think it just kind of twists the knife a little further in at this point. It's been a weird season. It's been a really weird season. That final play, it's like, oh my God, they're going to pull this out. Akeem Springs is kind of out there in the corner. I'm not even sure he had his foot over the line on that last play, but they ruled it a 3. It missed. It was a horrible shot. But it looked like Robert Johnson, and there was a little scrum around the basket, and Karen back to him, and just laid it in. And it was just kind of one of those plays you're just sitting there watching like.
Well, we weren't the only ones sitting and watching. Many of the players were too, it felt like. Blackman and Bryant had chances to box out, and they just... there was ball watching. They assumed someone was going to get the rebound, and Johnson got his hand on it, but he gave it right back to Springs.
That's the thing, yeah. It was sort of I guess you could say an unfortunate Karen, but you talk about the box out. Geez, where have we heard that before? Last week against Purdue, 2 weeks ago. Purdue, what was it? P.J. Thompson play.
Yeah,
that was kind of a weird bounce too. But at the same time, you can't. You got to be aware of where guys are.
Well, it's not a coincidence when it happens every game you see it.
Yeah.
It's a signal of. They just need to box out, and it's on the signs, and some of the signs that the coaches hold up. And
we're not going into signs right now.
We're not.
This is not a night for signs. This is not a night for signs. No, it's not at all. Well,
it's a sign of the times, though. Just to quote Prince, we're near.
Played a lot of Prince tonight, didn't they?
They did.
Warm-ups.
Kiss is a great song. When Doves Cry is a great. They play that in warm-ups.
Is that your favorite one? You were getting into it up there.
I was. I love Prince.
I know you do.
Maybe Indiana should listen to some Prince to get them in the mood to hit some shots and play some basketball. Breakfast can wait, They just need to
put Prince on some signs. Just put some lyrics on signs.
That would be
an awful idea.
A great idea.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to us. Anything else we should wrap up with here, Josh?
Nate Mason. We haven't even mentioned his name yet, but
no, we didn't.
Indiana's had trouble guarding perimeter guys, especially on drives. Nate Mason had a field day. Got to the rim at will. There was a stretch late in the second where Indiana, there was no hold up at all. They just let everyone get into the perimeter over that stretch. Mason had just second 30-point game against an Indiana team this season.
What is it now? 61 points against. What do you have? 31 against.
31 against Purdue in that overtime victory. 30 tonight, and that 30 came on 8 of 19 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3. Got to the line 12 times, hit 11 of those shots. Only 2 turnovers. And the thing is, look at these stats. Indiana won several of these categories, right? They won the rebounding battle by 7. They took 13 more shots than Minnesota, and they scored 1 fewer point.
It was a fitting. At this point, honestly, it was almost a fitting way to go out. It
was deja vu all over again. Really, it's the same thing. They've lost 6 of 7. It's been pretty similar, most of those losses. The close ones, at least.
Yeah. Which I think 4 in a row, 3 of those have been by no more than 2 possessions. So
yeah,
it's been
every one but the Michigan home game was within reach in the last minute.
5 or 6 most, yeah.
The Purdue was 5, and that was really decided on the Bryant, the double foul. The other two, close, but you have to get wins. They're 15 and 12 now on the season, but to make the NIT, I believe you have to finish 500 or above.
I don't think that rule is in place anymore. We should definitely go back and check it at this point. But no, I don't. I think there may have been a change in the rules this year.
Are you a fan of the rule change though, or the foul rule, the 10-minute it's resetting?
I don't mind necessarily. I don't like the resetting fouls. No, are they almost breaking it up into quarters too?
That's my thing. If they're going to do that, just break it up into quarters.
Oh, I like breaking it into quarters. I think
it's just hedging when you're not breaking it up into quarters and you're resetting fouls just in the middle of a play.
Yeah. Well, we're still a month away from seeing if we'll even be doing a post-NIT scoop talk. Who knows? They got to win games to even get there, right? So we'll see. Mini bye. No game this weekend. Next game is Iowa City next Tuesday. I believe that is it a 9 p.m. game too?
It's late. It's 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So that's 8 local in Iowa.
It'll be
for all the Iowans.
I don't think many are watching yet. All right.
They're not?
We've gone way too far talking from the barn. We're just a bunch of animals right now. Sorry. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.